are live.
Yay! And I'm here, actually.
Yes. Oh, and Chris is here. Yes. Yeah. Nice. Through the rain and the cold, it's suddenly a totally different climate.
Yeah. It's not that cold. And I'm trying to tell my partner and my kid, I'm just like, okay, you sure you want to bust out like the blanket now? You're not allowed to say it's cold yet. Because what happens when we hit like February?
Right. Yeah, it's just a weird combination. I hate wet and rain because you get soaked. And
as opposed to dry and rain?
Or cold and rain. Yes,
Like, wow, the rain's terrible, but it's a dry rain. It's fine.
Yeah, that's what they say in LA. It's a dry rain.
Just rain of dust.
Oh, man. Yes. Hey, Matt, how's it going? Matt is in the chat, wielding that blue wrench to keep us safe from... Yeah, when we don't have a moderator.
Yeah, when we don't. Oh my God,
all that porn spam and everything else. Yeah,
I feel sorry. That Brawl Arcane 28 thing we did was unreadable because of all the stuff.
Yeah, that's really a shame. And and we even get spam comments on these live streams by kind of these weird kind of OnlyFan things or whatever. But they're in all kinds of various languages.
Right. Nice.
So they'll spam us in like German and Tagalog and like all these like crazy like. Okay, so what are they
definitely
going
not
for?
looking at the German ones.
Yeah, right. So I don't know what that is, but yeah, someone's bot promoting. I just can't believe that. Well, I mean, they just were talking about like Twitter being like 80% bots. Like the
you miss 100% of the chances you don't take. So make that bot and shill your shit, and yeah. You'll catch somebody.
It's crazy. Yeah. Somebody will click on it because it's amazing how many people are just like, oh, what? And then you get to do whatever you have your way with their machine.
Ooh, instead of the Burger King thing. Yeah, have them your way.
Brutal. So, any game news? Anything?
Unfortunately, no. It's been. Pro tip: don't raise a 5-year-old. Right. I said I was gonna start doing stuff with both games and miniatures, and I'm just like, I don't have the energy. By the time everything is done and everyone's done, I'm just like, nope, I don't got it. And I think maybe after we move, because it's even more sucky when you gotta bust stuff out, work on it, pack it all back up because you don't have the space to leave it out, and you're just like, I don't feel like doing that right now. So unfortunately,
when's that happening? By the end of the year? Or?
No, it won't be until like spring.
Oh, okay.
April, May of next year. Okay. So yeah, still a ways off, but maybe try and do something now that it's cooling down and I don't lose 10 pounds of sweat by being in the computer room. Yeah.
Nice.
How about with you?
We're going to try some stuff online. Yeah,
nice.
We're doing, we're in the middle of John Carter. And I just posted the second episode of the Blade Runner actual play. Yep. Yeah. So that's going well. I think I'm overproducing like on the visual end of it. I should just stick with like the graphics we used. Right. But I'm like, but I've got this cool, and I'll just like, there's this, staircase with the rain dripping down. That'll be a cool background. But I'm like, okay, that's not. I'm embellishing our gameplay because the original intent was I'm just going to use the assets from Astral and give you an idea. And now it's like. Totally,
Well, that's what always happens, kind of, isn't it? You're just like, I could do that. This is cool. I'm really do that.
Yeah. So it's pretty immersive, and I tried to cut down. There's a few discussions just because people might be curious about it. A few mechanics discussions, but I pared them way down and took away a lot of the
turp page flipping.
Yeah. I was like, wait, it's here. Just a minute. So all of the raw thing would be really hard to listen to, I think, because there's a lot of breaks and things. So cutting it real close to just the dialogue and action, and then trying to explain a little bit of mechanically what's happening, without going into too much detail. Not doing like die rolls or anything, just showing like number of successes. Cool. But I had an idea for us to do something. I've had it around forever. The Tartarus Gate, the Rebellion Unplugged. Yeah, that would be really fun because you guys are all be like interns that wake up on a spaceship and like and it gets wacky. So that might be a good one shot. Yeah. Because they give you all the materials and they give you like a digital pack too. So we could either do it online or in person, and you just kind of take the magazine apart and hand out the pages and stuff. And there's maps and everything. So yeah, they did a really nice job with that, and it was. Planned to be, I think, pre-pandemic, planned to be a regular thing that they released this magazine. I don't know how often, but got guest designers to do adventures and stuff. And it was a self-contained game in a magazine. I was like, oh, this is brilliant. It was great. And the production values are nice and high. It's, the same guys that do 2000 AD, Rebellion. And this is their, unplugged things. So they're physical products. And we'll be talking about one of those today. Nice. And so I was excited to do something with that, and just and more never came. So they're probably eventually going to get back to it. The Adventure Presents is what they were calling it, like an anthology of pen and paper. It's a brilliant idea. I mean, a pen and paper magazine that's games, not just advice and ponderings. And if you wanted to make a Manticore,
it kind of reminds me of the big thing. If you want to run Cyberpunk Edge Runners in D&D 5e, that was the discourse last week where it's like, bro, there are fucking 3 official Cyberpunk games. Why the hell?
Yes.
Anyway, did not rant this month.
And they're even doing a 2077 setting for the official Telsarian Cyberpunk.
Yep.
It's like, why would you do what?
Yep. Well, anyway.
Sorry.
No, the anthology kind of makes me think of like Blaster 28 or the 28 mag, which I didn't realize was completely free and kind of digital. I don't know how often they put it out. The 28 millimeter kind of focused magazine that's more not artsy, but kind of lots of photos of very nicely painted miniatures. And if you start the hobby and want to cry yourself to sleep because you'll never be as good as the stuff they're showing there, pick up that magazine, right? But yeah.
Yeah, I was really surprised that I guess they're calling it kind of. It's the same way like people doing Heartbreaker, versions of like OSR stuff. Yeah, there was the whole movement of 28, and I think it was inspired by the death of the Inquisitor. No, the Inquisitor game. Like I think that was one of the first.
When did that die? That a while ago.
It was it was like 90s, I think. Yeah. But I think that started people trying to recreate that somehow themselves, just like with Gorka Morka and some of the games, and that Games Workshop is probably not going to go back to. There's movements to actually make those. Yeah, there's a guy that has an all orc Patreon that just released for October. That the modular like
I've seen that.
Yeah, so he's basically making rules for his own Gorka Morka with his own orcs that are completely customizable.
And why not?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Getting back to that like Blaster 28 and stuff, like I think with 3D printing and home like digital printing, okay, it's not accessible to everybody, but it's accessible to a much wider percentage of people than it was in the past. So those two things combining, like, why not? Like, this is the time to put out your own rule set, miniatures agnostic or not. Whatever, go for it.
Right, and more, if you can have STLs produced, more and more there are people that'll print them out, the shops that'll print them out for you. So, you just need one person that's really going to, in your group, in your game group, they're really motivated to do that. And then you can have access to all of those.
Which is why I have boxes and boxes and boxes of Perry miniatures, unassembled Perry miniatures at home, waiting for a slunch and turnip explosion.
So, it's very cool. Yeah, it's a very interesting time with gaming. I mean, it's weird that this is the timing that Wizards, the WotC decided to create their walled digital garden, because it is right on the verge of like everyone's like, why don't we just do this ourselves? Like, why are we?
I wonder if that's the case. I'm kind of prolonging the intro here, but I wonder if that's the case. Just because we're outside the wall and very happy to be outside the wall, I think we assume that everyone else is.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, we haven't seen the martinis that they get and the free massages. Yeah, that's right. We got to get in on that.
I think I don't know. I don't know how easy it is to navigate or find out about for people who aren't already outside the wall, right?
No, that's a good point. And somebody made that point. I think it was in a quote that I read last week. Something about there are people that play one system and it's like, why would I ever play anything else? This is what I learned. This is role playing. 5e is role playing. But I think 1D&D is gonna throw enough of a curve to some people that they're going to be like, this isn't the game I learned how to play, and I got to buy everything again digitally. All right, well, let's see what's going on here. Hey, Abyss, how's it going?
Oh,
nice. Matt said the 5e conversion of Edge Runners burned my soul.
Conversion.
Yes. That was a really brutal
humanity
idea.
lost reading that thing, man.
Ugh, brutal. All right. So let's get started for this week. Welcome to the Weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Chris.
And this week on the Weekly, our 160th episode. Judge Dredd board game re-release. That's the Rebellion Unplugged I was talking about before. Hasbro new senior VP, just what we needed. Magic the Gathering turns 30 and celebrates it if you can afford it.
Right.
Heroscape, price and date, and then a Lego contest for D&D's
Talking
50th
about burning your
anniversary.
own soul. I saw that and was like, yeah.
Yeah, that's brutal. All right, so let's get into it. So the first thing, the classic, I guess originally Games Workshop.
Okay.
Games Workshop classic Judge Dredd board game is getting a remake, and it's going to be done by Rebellion Unplugged, Rebellion is now the publisher of 2000 AD, so they have all the rights to everything.
Oh, okay.
And their Unplugged kind of department is all of their physical games. So they do like Sniper Elite, and we were talking about their adventure series, the Tartarus Gate kind of magazine, RPG in a magazine that they were doing. And because they have the rights, first released in 1982, Judge Dredd, the game of crime fighting in Mega City 1, was originally designed by Sir Ian Livingstone, so one of the original GW folks. And so it's been a classic board game forever, but I'm not sure like what condition it would actually be in, because I think it was all cardboard. So yeah, by now it's got to be pretty, really pretty eaten and yellowed and curly. But yeah, so they're re-releasing the game, but recreating it, like doing some updates, but recreating it, trying to be pretty faithful to the original version, because I think there's fans of that. So it relied on a randomized deck of cards and moving around locations in Mega City 1, dealing with about there'll be about half a dozen available crimes, and against groups like the Angel Gang or even Judge Death. So it's very card based. So there's action cards and dice rolls, and the interesting thing about it is the judges were in competition with each other. It's not a cooperative game. You're actually trying to be the best judge, to handle the most crime. And so yeah, Rebellion Unplugged is producing it, and this is kind of aligned with 2000 AD's 45th anniversary. So everything's having an anniversary.
Well, funny how time works.
Yeah, right. So yeah, we're hitting a lot of milestones here. So there'll be some updated rules for a little bit faster gameplay and some new cards added, revisions to existing cards, and recoloring of some of the game illustrations by Dredd artists Brian Bolin and Ian Gibson. So as well as the base game, they're going to release an expansion to give you access to 6 specialist judges. So a Judge Anderson-like side judge, Machismo robot judge, a chief judge, a cadet, a special judge squad, and a Wally squad. So the new game is due out next month. Price has not been announced yet, but it should be.
I imagine it's got to be around $50, $60
right.
board game price.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be, that would be in line with what they're doing. So yeah, that might be a nice thing to. And if it's shipping from England, we should be able to get it here in Japan pretty reasonably. Yeah,
reasonably. Yeah.
So that might be a fun thing to try out again. And I want to see what the fans of the old game say about it. Like, I hope they didn't do something that just kind of breaks the nostalgia or breaks.
Well, it kind of sounds like they didn't, right? Okay, maybe updated a bit, cleaned up, but still hopefully maybe faithful to the original.
Right. Yeah. So looking forward to that. That's a fun little piece of nostalgia that probably isn't going to rob you blind. The price will be reasonable. But speaking of. Speaking of nostalgia that chooses to rob you blind, well, first let's talk about one of the, I guess the masterminds behind doing such horrible things. So Hasbro just announced a new D&D head. Dan Rawson was chosen as a senior vice president. There's not much to say about him except for another Microsoft exec.
Oh, this is on the Hasbro side?
Well, Hasbro announced this, but no, this is specifically for controlling D&D.
Okay.
He's hired for digital D&D.
Okay. Which is where they're going.
Yeah.
So.
He'll lead the overall D&D brand growth, profitability across digital, physical, and entertainment. So that's a pretty wide scope. And yeah, so Microsoft exec. He's worked for a couple of Korean online marketplace and a Indian e-commerce company. So he's been bouncing around a little bit, but I'm sure he's got from those two, from Korea and India. I'm sure he has really great ideas about how to ruin people's experiences online, and because both those countries notoriously can make it. Wonderful things, wonderful experiences. So this doesn't sound like it's gonna. It's just bringing everything in line with just packing WotC with Hasbro Microsoft, former Microsoft execs that have this thinking about game as service, game as subscription, not game as books and.
But isn't that, I guess, Are we surprised?
No. I mean, it's probably the direction. And actually, getting close to the end, I'm in like the death throes of old TSR in that Slaying the Dragon book, and I think everyone and Paizo probably could would be one of the first companies to confess as publishing books regularly, high quality is very expensive.
Oh yeah.
And you're risking, and if you don't keep that ball rolling and relying on contractors and not having to do full-time staffers and stuff to produce these things, I mean, it's crazy expensive. And some of the shenanigans that TSR was doing at kind of the end of their life with their deal with Random House and stuff are just like, are you kidding me? It was doomed. It was just like doomed from the start. It was eventually going to fail. So yeah, I can understand that getting out of, and especially now with supply chain and all the ridiculous things you're doing with shipping, to get out of publishing physical things is probably going to help a lot if you have a strong IP. So yeah, it does seem to make sense now. And because the lockdowns got everyone playing online, they're used to it. It kind of like was that jumping in the cold pool, just like, okay, it's you brace for it, and you're like, okay, now I can do this. I'm capable. I'm used to the virtual tabletop waters. So what were we gonna say?
No, I don't know. I'm just wondering, kind of like, I'm curious to see what happens, right? And kind of like we were discussing, quasi off mic, what's going to happen to this one D&D, right? Like, are people going to switch over to digital in the numbers that WotC and Hasbro is going to need, or is this going to, I don't know, is this going to backfire on them?
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how people react. And if they are going after a younger generation of gamers, it may work because they function so well. If you just have a thing that works as well as Discord to kind of keep everyone connected, you have chat and audio and a virtual tabletop and all the tools built in. Yeah, you could actually harness and if you keep real positive a real positive image for 5e as far as inclusive. It looks very inclusive. There's nothing that's going to discourage anyone from trying it, then they may be able to get away with it. But I think they're going to lose an old audience.
I was about to say, but do they care? But then old audience might be where the money is, right? Think about like the Marvel train and like miniature war game hobby, right?
Right.
Sure, new people coming in is great. Young kids don't have that much money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So they'd be lucky if they have any employment. Right. Yeah. So a quote from this new VP: "Leading D&D is the realization of a childhood dream." And he's excited to be working with Cynthia once again. So this exec thing, like in an industry where they just bounce around and they carry this same little book of contacts with them, and just that's why you get like government employees, like you get the CIA working on Facebook and stuff. You get all this like it's really disturbing how the things kind of you just blend. But
why bother to spend time looking for people to fill the job when you got this little book?
Right. Oh yeah, Cynthia. Well, so luckily the Dan and Cynthia are reunited, and we can be happy. I'm not sure who Cynthia is, management of D&D, but we'd be so happy for them. And anyhow, so moving on to more exciting Hasbro news, I guess Wizards news. We've got a celebration to look forward to, the 30th anniversary of Magic the Gathering. And how would you like to celebrate that?
Not with a Transformers crossover.
Well, this is all from their promotional website, so that the writing is wonderful. So to celebrate the 30 years of Magic the Gathering, we had to go big. We had to create an experience for fans, new and old, that would be worthy of 3 decades of an original trading card game. We wanted a collectible, commemorative, jaw-dropping, mind-blowing thing that would cement itself in our collective memories as we look towards the next 30 years of
I should have boozed this up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have offered you some...
I got to go back to work.
To Irish that up a little bit, yeah. All right. So they are producing a 30th anniversary edition of commemorative, collectible, non-tournament legal products that cover the whole 30 years, inspired by their limited edition beta that they did. So this lets the fans and collectors experience some of the most iconic moments in Magic's early years.
Okay, I get it, right? Why not?
You're going to get it.
No, I'm not. I'm not getting this thing, right? Unless one of our lovely viewers gifts this thing to me, I am not getting it.
It's going on the wish list. Yeah.
Like, okay, it's been around for 30 years. Why not do some kind of collection of like the 30 most popular, or kind of like not game breaking, but like pivotal interesting, whatever, iconic cards over that period.
Right.
And yeah, okay, I get it's not tournament legal because you probably don't want to spend the time playing this limited pool or figuring out how introducing these new cards from 30 years is going to affect the meta. So yeah, okay, sorry, it's not tournament legal, but from like a customer standpoint, why? I mean, like, unless the box comes with, like, it would be more interesting if they did it kind of like a cube draft or whatever, right? Like, boom, here's your brick of cards from 30 years. Here are formats to play using only these cards, right? Here's a list for your commander deck. Here's a list for your two-headed giant deck. Here's a list for your cube draft. Here's a list for whatever. Because it's going to be expensive.
Right.
I don't know how much it is, but it's going to be god-awful expensive. Why not do something where here are a bunch of ways to play with only this box? Because that would attract maybe new people, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, people who've been playing for the 30 years are going to go, oh, I remember these cards. You know, I kind of want to get them. Not tournament legal, so anyway, but I don't know.
Yeah, it is weird. It feels like a weird kind of nostalgia bait or nostalgia grab.
Is there anything left in the gaming industry other than nostalgia?
Right. So this is going to feature the original art on all the cards, but the edition will be built with modern sensibilities, along with those nostalgic roots. So, what would you pay for a piece of nostalgia? What would you pay to open a pack that contained a Black Lotus? What would that experience?
What's the format? How many cards are in this set?
They're not really clear about it. They kind of give packs. So they say each display of the 30th anniversary edition will contain 4 packs of pure nostalgia. That means randomized packs of cards from this whole set that they were making of nostalgia. And they're coming out on November 28th. Okay. And the asking price for one of these packs is $999 American.
I'm sorry, what?
900.
No, I heard you.
Almost, well, just not quite 1,000. So you can save that dollar for a for your parking. I have no idea. So this is a hard, and they literally say that because what they're letting you do is recreate something that happened 30 years ago when you opened up. In a non-tournament.
Why am I yelling? I don't give a shit, right? In a non-tournament legal format, right? Like, so, okay, tournament. And then I've been out of the tournament side. Like, I had like a toe in the tournament scene for like a few years, and that was it, right? But like, a tournament is not the end all be all of Magic, right? Like, I don't like how saying, oh, tournament is important kind of discounts all the kitchen table games that happen, right? So there's absolutely ways to play with this, but if it's just like non-tournament, if it's like non-tournament legal kind of for $1,000,
yes,
we don't really know how many cards.
Right. Yeah, 3 packs of the description of what a pack contains is 15
Nebulous?
Cards, 13 with modern frames, 1 rare, 3 uncommon, 7 commons, 2 basic lands. So basically a magic pack.
It's a booster pack.
Yeah, like a booster pack. And they have either retro frames or updated modern frames around
so that you can collect both.
Yeah, right. And then of course a token. Yeah, just like a standard booster pack with a token in there as well. Yeah, so it's really crazy. And then they went out of their way to say, wow, we want to share this some of the experiences, these nostalgic experiences. We want to reinterpret this product with a modern approach. Wanted to be nostalgic, but not everything met our modern standards, so we removed 6 cards completely. So the ones that kind of had the controversy before that may have had references to, racism So the Contract from Below, Dark Pact, Demonic Attorney, Earthbind, Weakness, and Crusade are all coming out for various either art or wording problems that they couldn't resolve.
I'm okay. I kind of wonder why they even bothered to mention that.
Yeah.
Right? Why not just not mention it and say, look, they didn't make the cut. Right? You have a 30 years of an increasingly large pool of cards to pull from. just say for whatever reason
Yeah,
they didn't
we
make
didn't.
the cut,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
That really sounds. I kind of hate to use the word pandering here, but it's like, look at us, we did a good, right?
Oh yeah, right. And so just to they're trying to knock down every barrier to get your $1,000 that they can. So so few people had the experience of opening a Black Lotus or a Mox Sapphire when Magic was originally released that we wanted to recapture some of that iconic experience for generations.
$1,000.
Yeah.
For $1,000.
So $1,000 you could probably buy sealed packs from 30 years ago, and it's like
I'm gonna have to go investigate this because I cannot imagine how many cards you're getting. Like this does not add up.
Yeah, if it's that just a few packs, what did I say? 3 or 4 packs for $1,000?
It can't.
4 packs. 4
Okay,
packs. That's $250 a pack.
It cannot be 4 packs, right? It cannot. Like maybe like 4 boxes of booster packs, right?
Right.
Which are about like $60 to $80 each. But even then,
Right.
Mm.
But they have nostalgic frames on them, and so the backs they did like a retro, like a was limited edition like backing, so that they're identifiable as part of this set.
Right.
So the one thing that they did though that's real swell of them, finally because of the celebration, we wanted to spread the love around. We also intend to gift completely free of charge 1 display of 30th anniversary to all stores in their network, and 3 copies of all premium WPN that's their network, like the Wizards network, and 3 copies of all premium stores. So so they're gonna send one of these out so that. I guess the stores will definitely make their rent that month, though, because
will they?
The value of just that box is pretty brutal. But yeah, I don't know. Actually, though, it doesn't have any value. It just has the value they're giving.
Yeah.
Because actually, it doesn't really have any value. You don't want to reprint it. So this was just silly, and I don't like the speculative market and all this weird stuff, but it's the reason Magic is still strong and still exists. But I really hate that in this randomized pack thing. I mean, that was the thing in early days that turned me off of Magic. Right. It was just like people that were going to outspend me were going to have better decks. And it hadn't quite gotten to the point yet where people were selling singles. Like in the early days of the game, there was just comic book stores with a box of Magic booster packs. There weren't people selling singles and things. So it was, and no internet. Oh my God, that's so there wasn't a... It was very.
We were rubbing 2 stones together to make fire to light our tables and play.
So very different experience, and opening random packs was just like I'd rather spend my money on anything else than doing this.
I kind of had the. We got other stuff to talk about, but it's kind of the opposite for me, right? Like as a kid, like you open up a pack and you're like, well, I don't think I actually played with alpha. I think I played with beta. Right? I'm like, oh, these cards are pretty cool, right? Because you don't really know what else is out there. You just have this little microcosm, and you're like, wow, look at these cards, right? And then you kind of like, okay, let's go get some other ones. And once you start kind of collecting and playing, and you figure out which ones you kind of liked or didn't, you're like, oh man, another one of these, So then that's when they came up with like the pre-constructed decks, and you could just like play right off the bat. And it wasn't until kind of later, where you were able to start buying singles or playing against like really competitive people where you go,
interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. So like, I'm definitely now to the point where you are, where I'm just like, fuck these guys, right? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why? Especially when they started rolling out like 1 new set per year, when it used to be standard got released every 2 years, your story things got released every year, and now I'm just like, what are you doing with this like secret lair and loot drop and all this alternate stuff? And I'm like,
yeah, well, it's just I think Hasbro and then by default Wizards just like we've got access to these IPs, we've got these licenses, we got to use them.
Well, even before that, it seems like they got. I feel like they got kind of greedy at the rate they were releasing stuff.
Yeah. So absolutely ridiculous, and this also comes on at the same time we have Games Workshop releasing their first $200 plastic kit. So for I think for Age of Sigmar, I think it's the Giants, whatever the legally acceptable term for Giants is. So they released
Giants with a Y.
Giants faction, and so they finally broke. They were like kind of around the 150, 190, and then finally hit 200. And so only people that bought like resin from Forge World know that kind of price. So they finally are just like, they broke this kind of barrier, which is like, okay, now this is absolutely insane. $200 to put a single model on the table.
But the thing is, people are obviously buying it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they wouldn't have done it. And yeah. So it's it's a bit silly. So in addition to what's going on with this silly anniversary celebration of Magic, we have some more Hasbro news. So of course the Heroscape box set got a price and a date. And it's I guess currently doing the crowdfunding thing in that their HasLab thing, and it's an Avalon Hill branded war game like Hero Quest. So we got the price. The price is $250. Yeah, and I guess it's got a lot of stuff, but it's unpainted miniatures. So where's the? I mean, I think they're really banking on, because they included. One of the things that kind of gives away what they're doing and why they gave that silly price is they included some of the jungle tiles, which are incredibly, unavailable and sell for, like $250 on eBay or whatever. So they're like, hey, $250, that sounds like a good price. We'll put some jungle tiles in there and they'll be sure to jump on it. Yeah, so they're they said it's pretty formidable. Like there's a lot of stuff in this box, and what they did is they designed it to be fully backwards compatible with the old stuff. It's using the exact same digital files that they use for production of the original tiles. And it's going to have, of course, the rules, hero cards, and all the gameplay materials will be compatible in there. And so they're touting it as twice the size of the original 2004 release.
For what, like 4 times the price?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, that is sold in a toy store. So yeah, it definitely was not something that so I don't know. I mean, it's another nostalgia grab. So they're obviously going after, and the thing that's frustrating is they're punishing a community that kept this IP alive for the past almost 20 years, because the game still has a very active community that they even consulted about doing this new expansion. And now they're just going to put this price tag on it. It's like, you guys got jobs, right? So let's not let your kids buy it, but you can.
Yeah. That's kind of, I guess, maybe kind of the insulting part, right? Okay, I've never played Hero Quest. Never even bought anything. Not Hero Quest. Sorry. No, it is Heroscape. Sorry,
yes.
I had the original Hero Quest. And that was pretty good, and I should have held on to it. Right?
Right.
But never played Heroscape. Never bought anything for Heroscape. From looking into it, there, like you said, was the active community that got consulted to produce this new one. And I'm not mad, but I'm cynical. Like, this is definitely Hasbro going, we're just going to milk the people who already play this game for nostalgia reasons. And look at all this stuff you got. And exactly like you said, you got jobs, right? So $250 for this thing you love maybe isn't, we're going to get a lot of people with this. Right. Whereas what they could have done is put out a reasonable sort of entry point set.
Right.
Almost not as like a thank you to the community, right? But it's like, okay, you've kept this game alive or whatever. We're going to bring it back. A much more easy to swallow entry point set to get new people into the community instead of this giant brick that no one is going to buy unless you're already in the game. Yeah,
and you want to keep doing it. Yeah, I'm thinking of the generation of children. They're going to inherit all of these like limited edition collectors things. Like, well, Dad was into this. I have no idea. Yeah, it's going to all be landfill. I
had an existential crisis when I started buying miniatures again. I'm just like, what am I going to do with those little people, right?
Right.
But at least I'm not
throw them on your funeral pyre.
Exactly.
Hopefully.
I'm not spending $300 for like a box. It's like $20 for 40 dudes. Yeah.
So this is because they're doing it through their crowdfunding thing. I think this, of course, is the nostalgia grab, like the G.I. Joe and the Star Wars toys and stuff they're doing. So they're doing it deluxe and limited edition. But they're saying if this is successful, that they are going to, as a thank you, and kind of what that would indicate to them is that they want to bring that Heroscape back, and so they're going to start producing regular expansions and hopefully sets of boosters of the terrain and things, because that's all people want. People just want that terrain.
I kind of got mixed feelings about that a little bit, because like I get it. Okay, I'm not a business. I will never be a business, but I understand like business risk is bad, right? So you go, okay, if there's enough interest, we'll kind of take the leap and start making this thing. But on the other hand, it's like, I kind of feel like that's putting on the fans a little bit. Like, it's your responsibility to buy enough of this thing to show us that it's worth our time, right? Which I guess is how business kind of works. But
don't say the quiet part out loud.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I'm being kind of maybe grognardy. Right. But in the past, it kind of seemed like, we have a good idea. We think people are going to like this. We've done some market research. Let's put it out there. Oh, people are buying it. People are kind of enjoying it. Okay, let's do more. Now it seems very much like nope, we know what we're doing. This is all on you to make this successful. And if you don't, well, we tried. Well,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. It is strange. There was a quote from one of the Avalon Hill, the heads at Avalon Hill. What the team was doing in 2004 was they were kind of scraping the entertainment trends of different genres that were coming up. They would build different units based on different genres that were surfacing in pop culture at the time. Created a very interesting brand that was insanely scalable. Basically, could introduce any genre IP. Licensing partner. Or anything to battle in Valhalla. And because this is Hasbro that's eaten up all the little fish, that opens the door to Transformers and G.I. Joe and Magic the Gathering and D&D in Heroscape.
Well, I hadn't really put it together there, but like I just said, Hasbro has a new Transformers Magic set. The brothers.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like.
Yeah, and one of the players in the OSR group is into Magic and brought up an interesting point. There's something legal that they can't use the term transform.
Oh, really?
So there's a mechanic in the game where they transform, but they convert.
Yeah. It's not transform.
It's convert because legally they can't use transform. It's like, what a mess. Why would you even license something? Well, these are the Transformers that don't transform. Do you mean the GoBots? I mean, what if they don't transform? Then you can't call them Transformers? Yeah. So this is just kind of goofy. If you could compare like this set and go back to 2004 and compare that with the quality of that set, I'm sure it's going to be comparable. But how things have evolved quality-wise, Kickstarters allowed this whole new level of board game production, and the quality and how material, how things are actually produced is just insanely good now. Hasbro can't do that, and they still rely on their same old manufacturing practices, one-sided. Cardboard tiles with one side on them, so the other side is white, just white paper. So they're going to cheap out and do what they've always done. So yeah, this would have been great if you got this, almost 20 years ago, 18 years ago, but it's not going to be, it's not going to blow you away in this modern market. So compared to what you can get off of Kickstarter and what people are used to buying now, especially people at this price point, from crowdfunding. Because I was crazy disappointed with their re-release of HeroQuest. I'm sure compared to the old set, if it would have come out the same year after, it's like, it's good enough. It's actually kind of nice. But compared to our new standards of board games, and the price it wasn't cheaper, and it was way, way poorer quality.
But you bought it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No,
that's all that matters.
No, that's true. But I've been burnt once, by them, so I'm not even thinking about any Heroscape because
Hasbro's going like this. Oh, poor Jeremy, he's never going to buy any more of our games. Too bad. We got that HeroQuest money.
Yeah, because it's just like, I know that they're incapable of doing this, and until they say, okay, we've rethought this, and we were, searching new, providers for different parts and things. If they're doing the same old junk that they've always did for. Producing Monopoly and Parcheesi and whatever. Like,
I bet you Monopoly pieces aren't even metal anymore. Yep.
Right. So it's not worth it. So I would definitely wait. I hope that this is successful. I think I said this before when we first talked about it. I hope it's successful. I'm not going to contribute to it, but I want to see the tiles and everything get re-released so people have access to them, and that there is a starter set that a kid with his weekly allowance could actually afford.
Well, I don't know. I got to bounce pretty soon, but
sure.
like you said, okay. I think, or not like you said, but like I've seen in other places, I think after a certain point, piracy becomes a moral obligation, right? And I hadn't really attributed it to 3D or physical things, but if the community for Heroscape is like still alive, and like I'm part of it, but like you get these new tiles, and there is no forthcoming like entry point, then it's kind of all right, you kind of had your choice, or you had your chance. Here's an influx of unofficial but compatible tiles. Right. Here's the models, and we'll let you play with like older stuff. One thing I don't know how you'd get around is rules. Right. But if the thing you need is like those physical components,
yeah.
Watch out, Hasbro. Yeah, I think you may end up burning your bridges.
And that's why I think lowering the quality of board, that's really dangerous, because you can home print board game quality miniatures. So why would you risk you have to do something that people have a lot of difficulty, or it's very expensive to do yourself, and they're not going to do that.
Which is the route Games Workshop has done with those ridiculous
Right,
sprues where you're just like, what?
Yeah. right. So this is running, their little crowdfunder is running till November 16th, and they need, I forget, like 8,800, some number of backers to make this possible. I'm not sure how close they
That's
are.
right, because it's just kind of like one price.
Yeah, right. Yeah, one thing, one price. So this is going to give you things that aren't going to be in the retail version, but the only thing for Hero Quest that they did was a gender swap on the main.
Right.
So it's not like huge things, and if you really, really want it, it'll be floating around because, people will buy that. And so it's expected to hit the shelves, or actually, I guess, arrive to you 2023 fall. So we've got about a year, But we'll see.
Regret that purchase off.
I regret. And the final thing is a new challenge.
Ooh.
Celebrating 50 years of Dungeons and Dragons. Lego is calling for submissions. Yes. So submission invitation for a Lego product ideas project. So if you got less than 3,000 bricks and you think you can make a Lego kit that wins the fan vote. So they're not going to be produced officially, but fan votes will get some sort of recognition.
Right. Okay.
And then a group of judges assembled from their Lego Ideas group is going to pick the winners. And it's interesting. I think they've done this before, so this is probably not news to a lot of people, but if you win, they're officially going to produce your set using exactly what you built. You're going to get 1% of the total net sales from all the sales of these D&D products, 10 complimentary copies of your set, credit and a bio in the set materials, and as a fan designer, and a prize package of D&D goodies. So you've got until November 14th to submit your, and I'm not sure, they have like a 3D brick building thing, right?
There's a bunch of third-party ones, right? They definitely have an official one.
You can submit, like a design and a list to them. So the only requirements was it be between 50 and 3,000 elements for the brick count. And so this is all to celebrate D&D. So everyone, of course, is asking, can we use the Lord of the Rings helmets? And what's available? So
good point.
So they're saying anything that they've produced is up for grabs. The final version may not contain that, depending on how the license is doing or whatever. The Harry Potter
interesting.
hats.
Because I wonder. I know Lego obviously has to license IPs.
Right.
I never really considered that they wouldn't be able to produce bricks or elements.
Yeah, I guess if it contains something. So it sounds like fun. I mean, it would be so cool as if you were into that to actually get something that you design produced. Like if you came up with something iconic and interesting, and they're like, that's a good. It's because they're focusing on an anniversary, 50th anniversary, because this huge range of like kind of D&D imagery and things to pull from. So there might be some fun stuff.
I gotta. Sorry, I got to go back to work. But my brain went, Beholder. That's WotC IP. DM's Guild. You can only use Beholder in certain things if you're...
Oh, interesting.
I wonder how that would apply here, right? Because it's D&D related, right? But maybe the fact that it's D&D related kind of opens the door to anything D&D. But I wonder if you could make something that is actually WotC IP.
Yeah, the only thing that they specify in the detail, or there's like very legalese details, but on their website, it's a detailed display model of your favorite character or monster, a functional display of models of players and a DM, or 4 players and DM, or an ultimate build with customizable elements, all rooted in the D&D world. So maybe you can use reference to things, and they may, work with you to modify stuff. It's like, we can't use this, so make it like that. Yeah, but it's fun, but at the same time, it's like
more D&D.
More D&D, giving it all to WotC. So anyhow, ended on a low note there.
Lower and fucking lower.
So what is that? We're up to like $1,500 if you want to buy everything that we talked about today. That's insane. Yeah. All right. So where can people find you?
On Twitter, as always, where I'm mostly doing parenting rants now, because that's what my life is.
Are they D&D related somehow?
No, they are not.
50th anniversary?
They are not. No, not at all. How about you?
Right. And I'm doing the single panel gag cartoon, and actually I'm actually doing ink brush, ink pen, brush pen drawings for Inktober. So check out the Instagram. I think there's a link to that below. And then, I do a live stream of the drawing of that cartoon. So look for Abuse Cartoons on YouTube and Twitch, and gocomics.com/domestic abuse for the whole archive.
Yeah.
And if you like what we're doing here, consider becoming a weakling. Patreon.com/upturntable, and you can support us with what we're doing and let us know what you want to see more of or less of. Less Lego and WotC talk. And so Upturn Table on all social media and upturntable.com. And take a look at the first two parts. They're an hour long each, so we're kind of breaking them up into manageable amounts of the kind of visually produced. These are all the assets we used when we were running this on Astral. So virtual tabletop assets and some music and sound effects, and the actual play of Blade Runner, the Free League, the first case file for the Free League RPG.
I hope they contact you in some kind of promotion.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. Yeah, we're just like, get us the next case file, because we want to keep going with these characters. It's been really fun. So thanks for joining us. We will be back next week.
Later, mortals.
Goodbye. All right.
I gotta go watch this.
Oh, yeah. So we'll be right back. give it a few extra seconds there because I was talking at the beginning of the moment of silence. Yeah, I had my the little dancing GIF was there. So how's everyone doing? Yeah, so Chris I'm glad Chris could make it though. It's miserable weather, so it's a lot, more difficult to get from the office to here. But not bad. Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. We were talking about the 5e conversion of Edge Runners. It's so funny. I mean, that show is good anime. It's Trigger, the Studio Trigger. So they've done a lot of nice series, and this is very, frenetic and fun, just like their other stuff. And it's just a standard anime though. It's like a series where they focus on a different character in each part of the series, and it has a big arc, and the characters change and everything. It's very standard anime though. So I don't know why people are freaking out. It's like they've already done this, a large, many times. Like I said, I guess what people are freaking out about is seeing a recognizable property, and all the sound effects and everything, are right from the game. So they're really, it really feels familiar. And so to see this anime take on Cyberpunk 2077 is kind of fun for people. But it's pretty standard anime. It's not like, if you've seen Cowboy Bebop or you've seen any of those series, that's not Studio Trigger, but if you've seen any of the series, that's when they're limited series, that's the same structure they always have. If it's not done for TV, it usually has that same kind of structure. But oh, hey Yum, how's it going? So good to see you, Matt and Abyss, and Yum stopped by. Very good. Yeah, board games. I think we're leaving. I mean, we still have all of the ability to be in the golden age of board games, but I think the burnout and like Abyss even said that the money and the space required to keep board games is just, I think it's over, and people are getting breaking up into weird camps. There's a lot of like hipster board game elitists and stuff that if the board game doesn't have the designer doesn't have like 3 Z's in his name, then it's not cool. And I mean, I'm a terrible Ameritrash gamer, so more plastic, the more likely I am to buy it. So yeah, that kind of stuff is getting a little weird, but that stuff is really, I think, the supply chain and dealing with the Chinese production. And it's becoming less and less of an advantage to be here in Japan for Chinese production, because they seem to be having to send it to EU hubs or British hubs or American hubs before it comes to Asia, which is very odd, but it's probably part of new games that they're playing because of, VAT and different things. But yeah, I don't know. I think we're definitely out of it, and people are becoming more and more disappointed. There's a sequel or an expansion to Tainted Grail that's coming out, and people are just saying it's not worth it. It's there's not enough in it, and even all the stretch goals and stuff they're adding to the Kickstarter. So it may be a hard time because we do have like now GameFound and some of these newer crowdfunding platforms that are specifically focusing on board games. But if the board game thing is kind of winding down or getting just kind of burnt out and bloated, who knows? And now that Hasbro is entering it, and there was an ugly quote that I forgot to mention when they were talking about producing Heroscape, where the head of Avalon Hill is like, we went and we're going to go back in and dig through our archive of stuff to nostalgia bait to throw at you. So now, and I think you can thank Restoration Games for making the play. They wanted to do their version just like they did Dark Tower. They wanted to get the rights to do their version of HeroQuest, and that woke up the beast of Hasbro Avalon Hill to say, well, why don't we do that? And they had their little crowdfunding thing going on. But Yum Candyland, though, who's with me? Yeah, now Candyland. There you go. Yeah, I didn't even recognize it when my younger cousins, when I saw a version of Candyland and how they've updated it, I didn't even recognize it. It's evolving. I guess they're trying to create characters and stuff that they can do more with. 40K Candyland would be awesome. Yeah, you can. The colors would represent the chaos of actions. It would be brilliant. Oh, that's already a fun idea. Is just to have this horrible garden of temptation. Because, the chaos gods almost represent the deadly sins, sloth and avarice. Or I guess it's a combination like disease and lust and things. So that would be, that would be fun. Take your little cadet, your little imperial citizen through the land of chaos. and the that would actually be fun. It'd be fun to theme it close enough that it didn't get any lawyers interested, but it'd be very funny, very dystopian. Dystopian. Yeah, sugar plum bolters and peppermint. Okay, that's the next thing we're working on, Matt. I'm already drawing. I can picture a peppermint las gun right now. Yeah, and right, you've been killed. Go back to start. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, non-tournament legal, of course. The that nostalgia, $1,000. I think that's even making the people that are all in on the speculative market and trading this stuff from Magic, from WotC, go, what the hell is going on? It just woke them up to the fact that WotC knows that there's just a lot of suckers that are like they probably, the number of cases of whatever packs, the box of booster packs that they sell is probably 3-4 times what they would sell to just the players, just like competitive players, because there's a huge speculative market where people grab those boxes, sit on them, and there's $100 card in one of these packs, and it's gotten really, really ugly. There's a couple of channels on YouTube that talk all about the speculators market. Every time the new set of Magic comes out, like what to invest in, and you see guys sitting behind like walls of packs of boxes of booster packs. It's very, very silly, but it just reminds me of the ugliness of the 90s, the comic book speculator market, Beanie Babies, and now collectible cards. So that's why they'll always do that blind pack nonsense, is because that works. $1,000 for useless cards. Yeah, they're not worth. I mean, yeah, like I was saying, they only have the value that WotC gave them. They are never going to hold that value market wise. It's like, oh, a Black Lotus, the reprinted limited one, yeah, right. But yeah, I guess you had to pay $1,000 to get it, so it at least have some sort of. Yeah, it's really crazy. Yes. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Yum just brought up an interesting thing that I noticed in the comments when I think it was on Reddit or something, when somebody was talking about. I followed some link from people disillusioned with the $200 plastic Warhammer kit to now this $1,000 Magic set. People in the comments were saying there are companies that print in Hong Kong or China that do the print on demand sets of playing cards. You can send them a list, a deck list from Magic, and they will print the cards and send the deck to you. So they must have files for everything, even the old cards. So you can have pirated, bootleg Magic decks of your dreams, like the perfect deck, and made to order. And someone was saying they were like $16 or $20 or something, that they're like insanely affordable. And so that's already happening. There are already bootleg Magic cards being produced, and you can actually just have them print your deck list. That's insane. And no racism cards. That's right, Abyss. Thank God. The skin of one of those characters in that fantasy art was a little too dark, and it was the negative. The meaning of the card was kind of negative, so get rid of it. Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really crazy. But yeah, and like Chris was saying, like, people are going to feel more and more obligated. Like, this is the thing that I love. The original maker is not going to do it. Okay, then, we're going to take our hobby into our own hands, and you're not going to get any money from us because, you aren't supporting, how people want to play. So sealed beta boosters is about, the sealed beta boosters are $4,000. Oh, man. Yeah, but if you get it, might make 10 times that. Might, depending on how many Black Lotuses there are. Yeah, sealed booster boxes. That's just silly. And so many people are cheating that too. There's a lot of people that are complaining. I've noticed on Amazon and stuff, if you're stupid enough just to buy stuff sight unseen on Amazon, people will open the packs and then heat seal them closed again, take out the rare cards and just put, kind of give you all commons or whatever. So people will scam you by removing anything. They'll go through all their packs, seal back all the commons, and then put them back in and seal the box and send you a set of opened packs. And only very naive, only like, your grandmother buying grandchildren, these sorts of things is going to make that kind of mistake. But it's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true, Matt. Yeah. The Age of Sigmar, the aesthetic is it's confused and kind of weird. And now the design is kind of sliding into the Tolkien IP, like the most recent orcs, so more like the Peter Jackson, I guess, like the Warner Brothers or whatever, Tolkien. The design is like sliding into stuff, and they're just trying to reinvent, like a Tomb Kings faction, and and then now they're breaking up elves into like sea elves, and there's clockwork air dwarves and stuff. Like nothing. They haven't produced a single decent dwarf miniature in forever from Games Workshop. It's really, really crazy. Oh, Miguel, how's it going? Seen the latest Games Workshop releases in Japan. Oh yeah, jumped. Oh my god. Yeah, I think that's the guy. What are they called? The whatever the giant faction is. Of course, these are huge models. And in the U.S., they broke $200. Yeah, so a single model is almost 30,000 yen. Is on the way to 30,000 yen, and maybe with tax will be close to that. Yeah, so somebody was talking about they've been cheating and doing this thing so they can artificially inflate the price. They throw in a bunch of sprues to make the variations, to make alternative variations. So you can only make one model from the kit, and they include so much extra that then they bump up the price. But these aren't new sprues. They're not like, machining new molds or anything for any of this stuff. So it costs them nothing to just throw these sprues together. And that's the thing. Once it's over $200, it's literally pennies worth of plastic. I mean, it's, of course, the design, all of the computer design and the kind of CAD design that they have to do, and then the milling of those expensive hips, the metal molds, injection molds. So that's a huge upfront expense. Like one of those is like $10,000, like a single, to make a single sprue. But then from that, you put pennies worth of plastic in it, and now you can sell it for hundreds of dollars. Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, Miguel, it's brutal. I don't know. Well, that was immediately that like $400 Necromunda set, or almost $400. The yen is pretty cheap right now. And then the Horus Heresy plastic set, like everything that they'd produced was like almost $800 on that initial release. So whatever. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I don't think Chris would be all that interested in talking about it, but that release, the Squats release, the whatever, something of Voltan, their clans or whatever they're calling them, that they nerfed them before people even got the miniatures is insane. So they print these books, produce these army boxes, are just getting them shipped out, and then people are like, what is the insane overpowered rules for these stupid miniatures? We want to use these at a tournament, and then they immediately get nerfed because people are freaking out about it. And like the early thing that happened, some German tournaments or whatever banned them, the whatevers of the squats. Yeah, it's silly. I mean, they are so out of control. 40K is so out of control with their rules. It's so funny with 8th edition, they kind of like tried to reset and pare it down and go back to nothing. But even over the course of 8th edition, they overcomplicated it again, made you buy, so many books to have access to every single rule that you could actually play with for whatever army. And now they're just making it worse and worse, and haven't made anything, like all of their the digital app and everything hasn't made anything better at all. It's just such a mess. Oof. Yes. Yeah, all those starter sets are sold out. Yeah, they're not gonna produce any more of those, and they're already like weird nerfed models. So they're just for collectors, and I think they know there was an awareness that Games Workshop kind of admitted to, that they know the hobbyists and collectors are who bought that, not necessarily the competitive players. But them making these insane rules maybe got more competitive players to buy them because they thought they'd have a out of the box, like, crazy OP army to take to a tournament. But it's just stupid. Wow. Yeah, Warcry. Yeah, it's really crazy. Warcry boxes are that expensive. That's crazy. $500. It's really weird, and I think it's just going to get worse with the production of a lot of this plastic. It sounds really bad. So Abyss was saying my biggest gripe with Games Workshop is that because they are so expensive, is that you end up not being able to afford anything else. Oh yeah, that's definitely, and I think that's like intentional. I think that's part of their plan. It's kind of like the Apple strategy or whatever. Like Apple, by overpricing their hardware, makes it really expensive to run both a Mac and a PC in your setup. You kind of have to do one or the other because you can run an affordable PC, but you can't get an affordable Mac hardware. So yeah, I think that's part of the thing is they want to eat up your hobby dollars so that you're not going to play any competing games or competing brands. Kind of, very similar to 5e. Like they want to create enough stuff that if you want to keep up on it with the pre-painted miniatures and the special dice and the DM screen and everything they're producing for every one of their adventure settings or whatever. I think that's a Paizo word. They want to give you enough stuff to buy to keep you from straying into. They don't want you to go to itch.io or any place and just drop a couple of dollars to see what indie developers are working on. So yeah, it's crazy. invest. Yeah, it is. It really is funny how they play those games. They kind of eat away. So Matt's saying, you think the Heroscape tiles would make it through a dishwasher cycle? Yeah, I've got a box in the garage that are covered. The other, I'm sure you could probably, there's probably things you can do to the plastic. I've heard though that a lot of people were complaining that the original plastic is getting pretty brittle now. So depending on like the climate where you live, if there's a lot of like fluctuation in temperature and stuff, that some of the plastic that they originally used, they're getting a little brittle, so they're cracking and discoloring. So yeah, maybe. Yeah, I have some. Definitely, I think I bought a clearance box of Heroscape from one of the big box stores like Kmart or Target back in the day. And I have no idea. I think that's in storage somewhere. So, Yum says I'm judging your set. Maybe put the equalizer thingy. Oh, thank you. On the table out of sight, and your background is unsymmetrical. Scary OCD. I'm triggering Yum. Oh yeah, so that's probably a good idea because that's right. I forgot. See, here's the clear plastic stand. So usually, I didn't mean to trigger you, Yum. So usually, there's a game or something here. I was just so in a rush to get something, get some coffee for Chris. I completely forgot. Yeah. So usually, you're not triggered by all of our cables and everything. Yeah, I think a set kind of redo is good. And yeah, you're right. The logo is a little bit off now, isn't it? Yeah, a set redo is probably needed. A little change of furniture or something would be nice. Yeah. Usually there's a game or a book or something. So sorry for you to see all the naked. Yeah, that's why all these acrylic stands are everywhere, to see the naked ugliness of our setup. Yeah, the mixer looks pretty terrible. So that's why I was always trying to kind of, based on something we were talking about, put something here that would distract you. But thank you, Yum. I will definitely, think about doing something else. Yes. We'll put a big Q and an A after Yum's name, or a QC, I guess. What, quality control? Yeah. I definitely think we could use a kind of rejigger of the set and make it kind of more easy just to sit down. I mean, this is the furniture that I had, so that's what I went with. But yeah, I think you're right. Hiding the mixer might be nice. Yeah, I want to figure out, I wish I could run all the wires above and just get everything out of the way, because you don't even want to see. I'm not even going to point the camera towards the floor because there's all of this from both ends is running along the floor. It's terrifying. You would be highly triggered. Yeah, so I think the setup can use a reimagining. Yes, that's right. Yeah, Matt's piracy is a moral duty. Yes. Said it out loud. You should. We should. We'll put that up in the the break. Piracy. The Chris meme of piracy is a moral duty. Nice. So some jackass said, I wonder if I can convert Lego to 5e. Yeah, right. 1% is not much. Yeah. But the prices of those kits, though, is pretty silly. So, yeah, you're right, though. 1% on a $50 kit is, that's true. It's not much. But it's something. I mean, at least they're acknowledging that you had some input on it. Yeah. Give us product ideas and we might credit you in small print on the back of the first page. Yeah, that's very true, Miguel. It's not... Hey, Alvaro, how's it going? Sorry, it's taking me forever to get down. Get through the chat. Yeah, so it's a very funny... I lost my place now. Sorry. Obis is saying, I need Warcry Red Harvest. Sleeping with New Gods and old upcoming. Oathsworn is all in. Gonna get half of the Dungeon Universalis stuff. Next models, my up and coming Mordheim plays. Oh, nice. Playing some Mordheim. I'm sorry, I completely lost the where I was. It's crazy. Yeah, we need logo coffee cups and and everything. But yeah, thanks. I appreciate the input. I want to kind of sharpen things up. We need a refresh. Anyhow, this is been doing this probably for at least 50 episodes of the exact same visual thing. So it'd be a little fun to put like two chairs kind of facing, so it's a little more casual and get the mics. I tried to I lowered the mic a little bit here. It was instead of that big thing above. I don't know. I'm trying to we'll work it out. I'm gonna have to fly Yum out just to to measure everything and give us some good quality control. And long man. That's right. We did some eating of some long gummies with the long man. I think that those commercials are more famous outside of Japan, maybe from YouTube and whatever, than they are in Japan. Because I keep asking people and they're like, no, I don't know what that is. That's funny. Sorry, I lost my place here. Yes. So apparently GW has been working on it since 2018. Oh, Warhammer Fantasy. Oh, that's right. Yeah. They're bringing back the old world Warhammer Fantasy. Yeah, they put some sketches and things up, but it looks like they're not going to go for the simplified kind of nostalgic look. It seems like it's going to have that Warcraft look that Age of Sigmar has, where it's weirdly ornate and stuff. They put some Kislev sketches up, I think, of some old world stuff, and they're way too ornate and fantastic in a bad way, not in a retro way. So they're not going to do it. I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna go, but yeah, because they did that announcement that the old world is returning, but it won't be back for a long time, and that was back in 2018. So yeah, we'll see. But then they're gonna have the same problem where, like with their Tolkien, the Lord of the Rings license, they had fantasy and that competing, and now they're gonna have old world and Age of Sigmar competing, unless they like really limit it. Like I guess they might try to do with Horus Heresy, like really limit it to keep it from competing. Sorry, I lost track of the chat. So just, anything you want to repeat, please repeat. I have no idea where I'm going anymore. I'm so worried about the set now. Yes, I'm going to have to convert this to we're not very 5e compatible. That's true. We need some, we need a big ampersand above us. And Yes. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Please. So encourage everybody that you can to become a member or a patron, so we can actually afford to replace some of this stuff. Yeah, but I think kind of moving stuff around and changing the layout a little bit might be good. Yeah, because we could actually run the chat. Oh, that just occurred to me, and just from Yum's kind of thinking. Yeah, we could actually, if we want to cover this, we could actually run the chat between Chris and I. You start with a graphic and then have the chat, when messages came up, replace that graphic. That might actually be visually a little bit more interesting too, so that there could be chat going on during our conversation. So if you guys are making comments, instead of me going back and reading it later and being, what were we talking about? What's this in reference to? People can, if they're watching the live stream, see your chat and see your reaction, although that might get a little ugly, but see your chat and the messages while we're discussing something. So there can be some, kind of 2 layers of discourse. Yeah, but that would be good. Yeah, I'll if I've got time. It's kind of weird right now, but between now and next time, I'll think about moving some stuff around and see if we can come up with an interesting, a better layout, or at least some of the elements in OBS, or a fireplace. That would be great. Yeah, especially for that's right. We should have seasonal set changes where we have Now there are fall leaves and a fireplace, because we're drinking, I think Chris was having a pumpkin spice latte. So seasonal drinks and matching a seasonal set. Nice. And maybe a giant, Abyss has it right there. Maybe a giant golden statue of the God Emperor. Excellent. No, I'd like a refresh. I think things have been the same for so long. That would actually be fun. Share the actual play is, yeah, that's right. Yes, yeah, everybody share that Blade Runner actual play around. Yeah, I think that's the, I don't have a lot of confidence in how I ran it, and I think it was the same thing with Alien too. A lot of people were critical, but I think I hid enough of the mechanics that any of our mechanics mistakes in that actual play, people aren't going to be able to point at. So I buried a lot of that stuff, so it's more story forward, so that might help, because that was the thing. We did just the raw live stream of the Alien stuff, and I had so many people criticize, why did you do this? Why did you do that? Because I just ran it how, especially with a live group at the table, you just kind of read the room and how people want to play. I tried to play it that way instead of saying, no, this is my game, we're doing it like this. So it got a little goofy with how capable the technology and stuff was. It wasn't kind of low tech Alien. It was more Prometheus, like, holographic displays and tracking of individual people. I didn't keep it too primitive, so I had to, just don't like to be listening to all that stuff. So I think doing the actual plays this way, even though it's a lot of work to get the audio edited, it's a more satisfying thing to listen to. So even if you're not interested in the game, it's a cool story. And Matt and Will are both so good at playing off of each other and creating characters that have friction. In everything we've done so far, they've come up with some really nice ideas that give their characters clash, and that's something that I don't see that often. And maybe it's just because the groups that I'm playing with here are a little bit more careful and tenuous and sensitive about kind of what other people want to do. Some people are very clumsy, and then others are too careful. So we don't get nice dynamics like that. Yeah. Yeah, right. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, people in Twitch have it that way. I think, the chat is having that on the screen might be good. Or the Eye of Sauron. Yeah, Miguel, nice. So we can have a burning, flaming eye. Yeah, I should come up with just some random elements and depending on what we're discussing and stuff, that might be fun to have going on. Nice. The Emperor protects. Nice. Oh, thank you. I'm it was cold as hell this morning, so cold and raining, so trying to keep all that off. Well, thanks everybody for sorry, I don't need to touch that, for being here in the chat. I will give some thought to kind of reworking some of these elements, but I think that would be more fun to have the running chat up the middle. So that it wouldn't disturb the flow of discussion between Chris and I, but you guys can have input on what we're discussing, and it actually relates, because doing it this way, kind of rewinding and going back, and then it won't affect the actual podcast, like the actual what goes out as the audio podcast. Yeah, will just be the discussion, but then before and after, we can interact with chat. So so Abyss made the checklist: golden statue of the Emperor, VTuber avatar for Chris, altar for an altar for Matt, and a fancy overlay for the chat. Perfect. Hey Quark, how's it going? Nice, good to see you in the chat. Yes. Nice. Fighting against critical against Critical Role for views today. Oh, great. Yeah, I'm sure we're winning. Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, the actual plays were really fun, and I think we're gonna have. And there's still the kind of one shot that we did of the Dragonbane quick start to get out there, and then start doing the John Carter stuff. Although I made a couple of huge mechanical errors in John Carter, so I have to see if I can even edit around those. That might be a little tricky, but but the plot thickens. I think the story for John Carter will be fun to listen to as well. It's going to have a lot of twists and turns, so yeah, that should be good. I guess though with John Carter, the only problem is going to be I went real minimal with assets, with the visual assets. So I'll have to create a lot of stuff to make the visual play interesting. The nice thing about Blade Runner is I had all of that stuff already from the PDFs that we were using in the virtual tabletop. Nice. I put up Kitty for a 40K. Oh yeah, 40K person queue of Overwatch 2. That really sucks. That, I mean, it makes sense, I guess, but they killed the original Overwatch, and Overwatch 2 is not. Yeah, is not a huge. I don't know. I guess the reason they killed it is because it's not a big difference. It's like a 1.5, but they killed some characters, and then the servers were just too crowded. Like the queues on the servers were just too crowded. It's really insane. And somebody said, it was on YouTube or whatever, I saw that they encrypted the models in Overwatch 2, so people couldn't harvest them for porn reasons again. Because I guess the original Overwatch, like somehow the assets were easier to get at, and people stripped the models out of the game, and that's why you have all that kinky Overwatch porn to enjoy. But they tried to make it harder this time. Nothing is, it doesn't matter how hard it is. If people want at that stuff, they're going to get it. That's funny. Yeah, that's so crazy that they can't. Well, I guess no, what is it now? It's who bought Blizzard Activision? I don't even remember now. It's such a mess because, Blizzard and Activision were a thing, and then somebody just bought them, so it's that company's fault for not understanding like how popular stuff is. Oh, I'm showing your comment, Abyss. I hope you didn't blaspheme too hard. Oh yeah, Overwatch porn. Yeah, that's right. Everyone's saying porn. It's all getting grabbed. Yeah, Overwatch porn. Yes, that's right. Rule 34. Anything. Oh yeah, was it Microsoft? Oh god, that's there you go. That's the reason that their servers are garbage, is because Microsoft doesn't know how to do infrastructure. Oddly enough, they don't. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was Microsoft. That's insane. Yeah, right. So Microsoft, Blizzard, Activision. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, why they even bother doing that. Yeah, and that's right. Bethesda didn't. Is that Bethesda? I'm totally screwing everything up. Yeah, maybe not. Is it the the post-apocalyptic game that had the 76 kind of MMO version of it, the always online, that had horrible server trouble as well? What was it? I can't. On camera, I have zero memory of anything I'm talking about. Yeah, but they had some problems once they were bought as well. Microsoft, Apple, X, Amazon, Smile logo. Yeah, right. Yeah, pretty soon it's going to be one horrifying thing. I keep this is not game related, but I keep seeing all kinds of weird stories about those adult Happy Meals in the U.S. What's going on? People have nothing else to think about, I guess. I guess that's why we're talking about tabletop games and roleplay. Yeah, definitely. It's where, yeah, Microsoft just, but yeah, Doom, Elder Scrolls, Fallout. That's what I was thinking. Fallout 76. Weren't they already bought by Bethesda? Was bought by, that's Bethesda, right? I might be screwing that up. But yeah, Microsoft does kill things. Yeah, Activision. That's crazy. Oh yeah, that's right. There's talk about they're going to buy EA. I guess like better buy them before Embracer Group. It's either Microsoft or Embracer Group. It's brutal. Adult Happy Meals. Yeah, you got. So that's a thing, right? I've seen some stuff. Yeah. So they worked with some design, and maybe it's just like, only in big cities, like big metropolitan areas or whatever. But yeah, McDonald's did Adult Happy Meals with some design studio, and so they did these like weird psychedelic toys, and the design of the box is all weird. But they're saying that the sales are just out of control, and probably because it's just like a limited thing that people think they can sell. But yeah, not gaming related, just weird. We are so out of things to care about related. Yeah, it's good marketing for consoles. Yeah, you're right. If they can make Xbox PC only. Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, that's right. Some of the memes of the Modelo, yeah, cheers, and the Happy Meals, yeah. What's it, Modelo? The what is that? Is that Mexican beer or tequila? Yeah, Modelo. Yeah. I've seen some of that floating around. Yeah, they should. This should be the reason that they start selling alcohol. Although McDonald's in the U.S. are such chaos anyhow, I can't imagine if people were also drunk and not just high in McDonald's. Oh man. Yum said a lot of man children out there, I guess. Yeah. The toy is just some kind of like plastic toy of some element, like Grimace with like 6 eyes or whatever. Some design element of the box at the studio. I forget the name of the studio. It's like Farm Cottage or something. Some design studio doing doing something. Yeah, cerveza. Nice. Modelo. Yeah, nice. But yeah, I don't know. Very, very bizarre. Well, that was like didn't Burger King do their unhappy meals, like their bipolar meals or whatever, where you could order a specific bag with your neurodivergency on it? I don't know. Oh, nice. Oh, very cool. Yeah, it's very odd. But I guess, they're having a lot of trouble. They need to, I guess, do something so they can make more money to actually hire employees for a decent wage. I don't know what's going on with fast food. And it's all going to be automated soon anyhow, so it doesn't matter. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I think I probably had it, but I don't remember. Yeah, for some reason the marketing or the availability of Corona is even though they took the brand hit from having a pandemic with the same name. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, the thing about Southern California, you've got access to all the good Mexican beers and everything, the whole variety. All right. Well, I think I'm going to call it for this week before we keep talking about Happy Meals. But everyone, thank you for joining, and especially thank you to the patrons. This audio will be on the RSS feed, and thank you so much for your support. And take a look at, also on the RSS feed is the audio only of those actual plays. So there's enough music and sound effects. I think it makes an interesting listen, even though we're all on, all on Discord. It still works. And the fun thing is, because most of the time they're talking to each other over communication, over like their Kayas, the having the voice, not be that clean kind of works for the for what we were doing. The setting works pretty well. So yeah, good night, everyone. We covered the gamut. Yeah, thanks, Matt. All right. Oh, that's right. We didn't rant on Rings of Power. That's right. I guess we'll have to catch up. I don't even know if Chris is watching Rings of Power. I haven't brought it up. But yeah, we're going to see Galadriel covered in Cheeto dust next week, right? Is that the finale or the penultimate episode? I forget how many episodes there are in the season, but yikes. Yeah, watch House of the Dragon is much more interesting. And it's funny, they're jumping the they're jumping the timeline between each shows. They're jumping a few years. So they keep having to change actors. It's getting tense. All right, everybody. So take care, and we'll do this again next week. So thank you to all the members and patrons. You make this possible, and we will get a more reorganized set coming up soon. Try to get something going, at least so it'll be visually a little more interesting. So take care, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.